All right, so welcome to the class. I just want to move further and explain the one I've not explained under color grading, and I just want to show you the 1 to 3 of color grading. Okay, so if you like an image online and you just like the color grade and you want to replicate the color grade, you don't have the LUT. It's actually easier to do. Okay, so I just want to quickly explain some certain things. Now, before that, I'm going to drag in the color profile we have. Let me use this one instead. Okay, so now what you need to know about this replicating color grading online is that this thing is actually like calculations. Okay, so and the first thing is to look for a similar image. Let's take, for instance, we want to get this type of color grading, and you can see that the lady is standing in between leaves and grasses, and you can easily predict that these grasses are supposed to be green. Even here we have green, and also she's putting on red, and also our skin tones is actually red, and at the top part here you're going to see some colored shade of orange, deep orange or deep yellow, okay, compared to all this one. So you can actually achieve this by using this calculation I'm going to teach you right away. Okay, so first thing you need to do is to look for a similar image. I've got one similar image here where we have grass and the lady with the red skin tones. If you actually watch the color grading tutorial I post before this one, you get the concept of those adjustment layers I'm talking about and how to achieve a lot of color grading. Okay, so I'm going to make reference to all those videos. So now I'm going to turn this one off. Now, what the first thing, look for images that are similar. I have two images here that have grasses and the rest of, so I'm going to be using it to compare my work. Okay, and I also have this one, but right now just because it's what I do every day, so I already know what to do. I don't need to start using this this color wheel. So with time, when you two are doing yours, you are actually going to get rid of the color wheel. Okay, so now from here, let's unlock the layer. After getting the color, the image you want to use, you are going to go ahead and create a crop. So this crop, I'm just going to extend this side, like extend it like this, and it's okay. So it's just going to transform and crop the give an extra size at the other edge. So after you've done that, I'm going to turn on the first layer. Now I'm going to pick the move tool and I'm going to drag this right here. So now the aim is to make this one look like this one with the settings. So make this image look like this image. So now I'm going to drag this image that we want to replicate. I'm going to drag it on top, and after I drag it on top, I'm going to drag this one below it. Now I'm going to make sure I'm selecting that layer, this one below it, and whatever adjustment I make is not going to be affecting this one, it's going to be affecting this one alone. So let's get started. So after those two process, you're going to come here, select the color grading adjustment. So like I said, we have the selective color, the gradient map, we have the curve, and also we have the hue and saturation. So now I'm going to explain something with this one, this infinite color grading. We soon share post more about these plugins. Okay, so now if you check the infinite color grading, we have the curve, we have the color balance, we have the selective color, we have the gradient map, we have the color lookup. Now I'm going to quickly create something to quickly explain these things. So let's take it in. Now it created 4 layers. Now this thing is actually affecting all the image right now. Now for this gradient map, you actually use it to affect the highlights, midtones, and shadows. And also the selective color, you use it to affect the colors in the image. It affects only the colors, and sometimes you can use it to affect the midtones and highlights as well. So the selective color is actually universal, affect midtones, highlight, and shadows. It also manipulates the colors in the image, same as the color balance. The color balance works like the gradient map. It affects the midtones, highlight, and shadows in the image. Why the curve? The curve affects the luminosity, the lightness and darkness of some area. It's mostly used in creating moods. Okay, so it creates contrast, like soft contrast, like something like this. If I go inside and I raise up, go to the master channel, and then I raise up this, it's just going to create a kind of mood to the image. You can see, so it creates mood, strong mood, and you know, that's what the curve does. So I'm gonna get rid of this one and quickly explain why the hue and saturation is not inside. The hue and saturation, let's check it out. So let's grab the hue and saturation. Now the hue and saturation has the hue, saturation, and lightness. It's not actually inside this one, which is supposed to be, and which is responsible for the desaturation of some colors. So you see some colors which are grayscale. It's because the hue and saturation is being used. For example, I can go inside the cyan and I can desaturate the cyan, and you can see the mood it created on that side. So it creates this type of mood. And we can go inside the greens as well. Since we want to affect this one, we can desaturate the greens. Okay, so but now I'm going to show you something really powerful right now. So now, since the saturation is desaturating tints, we don't have that in any of this layer. We don't have that in this selective color adjustment, although we have the hue. You can change the hue, which is also in the hue and saturation adjustment layer. We can change the lightness, which is also inside the selective color. The lightness, which is this one, you can see how it's affecting the lightness. Okay, but you can't change it extremely, otherwise it will be like the hue and saturation. But this one, you can change it extremely, bring it down, and bring it downwards. So you can change the lightning of the hue and saturation. So that's why the hue and saturation and selective color, they work together, because the hue and saturation has the same hue and they have lightness. You can manipulate the colors, but the saturation is not in the selective color, so that's why it's different. Okay, so but the gradient map and the color balance, they work with the highlight and shadows. Even the curve work with highlight and shadows, but it's mostly for luminosity. So understanding that, I'm going to move continue with the tutorial. Now let me turn this on, this color layer. This what's it called now? I'm going to drag it above first, so I'm still going to bring it back. Now if I have this color, you can see this color which I want to replicate, this blue one which is around this side, this blue. You can just drag it below, and let me convert it to smart object, rasterize, use the eraser tool, magic eraser, and let's delete it. So let's leave it like this, and let's delete the inside as well. Okay, so now I'm going to drag it around. You can see that the color of the grass here, it's this blue, while the color of this grass here, it's green. Now if I want to tilt this green towards this blue, I'm actually going to be adding red to it and subtracting yellow. So as I subtract yellow, I'm pushing it towards this side. As I add more red or more of this color right here, let me make it bigger. So if I had color like purple and red, it's going to give me this blue, teal blue. And if I subtract blue, it's going to give me the yellow. Let me show you. So I'm going to come here, right here. Okay, so let's just add one of the adjustments, hue and saturation adjustment. Now see what will happen if I go to the green channel. If I go to the green channel, okay, so let me say I want this thing to be like yellow. I'm going to subtract blue from it. Okay, so sorry, selective color. Let's use the selective color instead. So selective color. Oh, come on, delete selective color. Now under the selective color, I'm going to go to the greens. Now from the greens, remember, if I subtract this blue, I'm pushing it towards the yellow. So if I subtract blue from the greens, like subtract blue, I'm pushing it towards the yellow. You can see that the leaves is becoming yellow. So let's turn it off and on. You can see that it's turning yellow. If I subtract more of the yellows, let's go to opposite of okay, let's go to the, let's still subtract, let's add more red. If I had red, I'm pushing it towards this blue. So I had more red, and if we subtract more red, it's just taking it, making it the same. So subtracting more, I'm adding more red, sorry. So as I'm adding more red, it's pushing it towards this side. Now let's take it backwards. Let's go back. I'll add another one, selective color. Now if I had more yellows, let's add more yellows to it, adding more yellows to the green. Let's go back to this one. Okay, we added yellow here. Let's change it to blue. If you change it to blue, you can see I added blue. So as I'm adding blue, it's switching the greens towards this color, the blues here. So as I'm adding blue, it's making this green come like this. If I add yellow to it, it will make the green go to the other side. So just to help you understand how the selective color with the map works. So let's go in. So that's just what I want to show you. Now, the last thing I want to show you is sometimes when you check some colors, there are some colors that are actually inside. You can't just go ahead and start manipulating the colors. For instance, let's grab the hue and saturation adjustment, the hue and saturation adjustment layer. Now, I'm going to drag this one above so that whatever we're doing, we're only affecting the layers, this one. So it's not affecting this one. We want to replicate this one now. Now, I'm going to reset. It's already reset. Okay, so now, the fact that she has red skin tones, the skin tones is red, does not mean that there are no yellows there. The fact that we have green on the grasses does not mean that there are no yellows there. So for instance, let's go to the yellows and increase the saturation. You can see that there are some yellows in the green and there are some yellows in the body. Okay, so now let's go to the red as well. We can go to the red, increase the saturation. So you can see that the red is only present in the skin tones. Okay, so now let's go to the greens and let's desaturate and saturate. So now we have some colors. We even have some yellow colors in the green. So now the aim is to make the green only green and also make the skin tones only red. So meaning we are going to merge either the green or the yellows together and make the red stand alone. I'm going to do that now. So first thing we need to do, let's merge the yellows. Let's make the yellows look like the red. Go ahead, grab the hue and saturation. So for you to do that, you use hue and saturation. Sometimes you use the I'm going to show you the selective color method. So the hue and saturation method, if I go to the yellows and increase the yellow, you can see the yellows on the skin. Okay, but I want the yellows to, you can see the yellows on the skin. I want the yellows to look like the skin alone, so that I want to merge the yellows and the red on the skin. So instead of me to have just the yellows on the screen and on the background, I want to make it look like the red, so that it will just be red. It will not be, there will not be yellow in the image again. There will just be only red. So what you need to do is to, let's reset. And now, because we are in the yellow, we are going to take it towards the side, and notice what will happen when I increase. So it's still there, so but it's not like the yellow. You can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so it's there, but now it's like the red. Now the hue and saturation, let's grab another one. It's going to count it as red. Let's go to the red and increase. So it's now red. So let's go back, go to the yellows. You can see nothing is affecting the yellows that much. So if you still have something affecting, you can see that I've increased the saturation of the yellows, but it's not actually affecting the yellows in the body. Why? If I turn this one off, you can see that it's affecting it just at the neck side. So turn this one off, you're going to see yellows on our skin tones. But if I turn it back on, the yellows are gone. Why? Because I've converted the yellows to red. Okay, so you can go inside, back inside of this one and go to the yellows and still convert it more to red, so that there won't be any effect on it. So now I've converted it to red. So we have just red and we have just green, red and green, because I've converted the yellows to red. Now we can now start manipulating the colors to look like this, because I can get rid of this one now just to show you, or just to confirm. Let's go ahead with the yellows. You can see that nothing is happening because I've converted the yellows to red. See, nothing is going on, but we have some yellows in the greens. So but you don't have to mind, look forward. The whole thing is to just make sure you have the colors on the skin look the same. Whichever color you want to make look the same, merge them together. You can merge them together. So I'm going to get rid of this one, so which is the first step. I've merged that. Now I'm going to go to the greens. Let's go to the greens. I'm going to use the selective color for the greens. Now under the selective color, I'm going to go to the greens. I want to convert the green and the yellows in the background of the green. I want to make it look like green. So I'm going to go to the yellows, and then I'm going to reduce the yellows. Let's reduce the yellows like this. So by adding blues, not too much, and then we can pump in some green to the yellows, and let's leave it like that. Let's just leave it like 17. Now we can go to the green and start manipulating the colors. So for the green, I want to make it look like this. Remember our color wheel, we need to add blues to it. So if you take it towards this side, it begins to form something like this. So we are trying to remove yellow, although it will be very easy if we use the saturation, hue and saturation adjustment. And let's try and pump in some cyan now. So taking it backwards, and now we can also take this one backwards. So we are almost getting there, and I think we need to increase the lightness a little bit. So if this one is not enough, let's take it more further back. You can actually use one layer for it, like that. You can now go ahead again, grab another hue and saturation or selective color, whichever one will be good. So still on that one, which color is this? I sense the color looks like cyan, and now you can continue adding blues to it. I explained selective color already, and we can have some touch of green and make it look like this. So I guess we already have the color we have in mind, so let's just do it like this. And now since we have that, it's the same. So for you, since these two, they are the same, you can use just one layer. Let's turn this off, turn this off. I guess we've used this one to convert and merge layers together, so we can just use the hue and saturation, which is still the same thing. Go to the green channel. I'm using hue and saturation adjustment or type now, and you can go to the green channel and change the this one looks very easy. Just change the way the color is, and like that, just bring it back a little bit. You can take it downwards, you can bring it upwards. So let's lighten it up with a little saturation and brighten it up, and let's still do it. If you haven't gotten the real one like this, you still need to add another hue and saturation again and start adding another color. So you can grab another hue and saturation again, add to it, go to either the cyan channel and change it like that, and probably desaturate or increase the saturation a little bit. So you take it a little backwards. So just these two, let's group these two together, 1, and group these two together, 2. So whichever one you see, 1, 2. Okay, which one did I turn on? Let's turn these two on. So we have these two, and let's close it. So either one will work, 1 or 2 or 2. So you will still get the same result when you use the formula, but I prefer this one. So let's say we are done with the what's it called now, yeah, the color grading. You want to add this vignette there. You can quickly grab your curve now to add some, you can bring it downwards, but this is not easy to do. You can create an X curve though, so just create an X curve, but I want to add vignette. So vignette is very hard to do in Photoshop, so I just need to do is to bring it, but for you to bring it at the edge, you just grab your brush tool and then you erase it from the mask like this. So it's gonna add vignette automatically. Sorry, X, remove it from the brighter side, and like that. So you can see the vignette is just there. Now that's it. Now let's say we are done. After doing that, you will test it with other image. We have one other image here. I'm going to turn it on. So this is it, and I'm going to drag it towards the left. Let's turn it back on. So we have it like that. Now let's turn off our color grading. So let's test it. I'm going to grab this one and turn this one on. So this is our color grading, and let's turn this one on and turn this one off. Yep. So this one, where's it? Turn it off. So we have something like this. So you see we have some yellows. Now you will now start again. Let's go ahead, go back into the color grading. Let's even turn this one on. Okay, so let's say we have this one, but we need to manipulate this yellow. So meaning, since we have yellows here, we are going to go ahead and just after this one, turn it off. You can see that the fault is at that other side. So on this one, we're going to go to the yellows channel. Let me drag it here. So just to confirm, go to the yellows. I know that is the yellow. Yeah, that is the yellow. Go to the yellow channel, and then we're going to change the hue, but we're not going to use this one again because we already used it. We're going to grab another hue and saturation, and then go to the yellows, and then start messing around with the yellows again till we have that color. Good. So we go continue, and then boom, and then that is it. So to give us the precise one. So that's just the way to do it. So since you have this, it will work for both this and work for both this together. So you just go back and forth and start blending things together, compare with different images, and now I can see some touch of lightness there. So I can turn, sorry, I have some turned on, so you can just turn off some, and then let's turn on this one. Okay, so that's how to get a very similar image that works for both. So whichever image you drag in is just going to work for it. Let's turn this one back on. It's just going to work for it. Now, how do you save it? Well, very easy to save. You're just going to make the last one the background layer. Go ahead, go to layers, go to new background. From layer, it's going to click this one. I'm going to turn this one off, and then make sure everything is selected. Everything is turned off except the background is turned on, and your settings, all your settings are on. Now once all your settings are on, you can go to file, now go to export, and go to color lookup tables. So you're just going to export it like that. Give it a name. You can say teal blue color grade EE, and then you click OK. Make sure it's on cube, and then you can still rename it. Let's save it on the desktop, name it teal green, and then it's save. Now it's going to show you a very small box at the edge here to show you that, oh, it's already saved. So I'm just going to do one more example. So it's trying to save it now. So now it has saved. So for you to use it, I'm going to get rid of everything here. Shift, holding down, sorry. Let's delete. And now let's say I want to apply it. Let's turn it back on. I want to apply it. I'm just going to go ahead, go to color lookup table, and then choose from the color LUT, low 3D LUT, and I'm going to choose the teal green. Look at it here in the desktop. I'm just going to show teal, and it's going to go ahead and bring it, and you can use it to build up any of the color lookup table you have. Okay, so I just quickly showed you how to do it, but we have a little bit of the skin tones, brightness in the skin tones. So that is just very simple. You can just use the selective color, go to the red, yes, the red, now red, and you can brighten it up. This is it, just brighten it up a little bit, so to make it look like the same. So you can see now they look the same in the color, in the brightness of the skin. And as well, you can go ahead, go to the cyan, and then add some greens to it. Sorry, I'm adding magenta to it. You can add some green to it like this, taking it backwards to make it look like the leaves. And now you can quickly save this one again from this preset, save it as another what's it called, color lookup table, because we just corrected it. So you just keep correcting. Let's turn this one off, and we have this one, so you can see the skin all looking the same. All right, so guys, I'm going to show you one more example.